What's up, everybody? I'm Duncan Deep, and today I am doing an interview with a VGC player who has qualified for Worlds, and we're going to be talking about the team that he used to do so. This is Jamie Kean.
All right, hello everybody.
And we do apologize for lack of webcam here. Unfortunately, Jamie is on his phone right now. He does not have access to a laptop at this time. And we just want to talk quickly about basically his VGC season and the fact that he's going to Worlds. And finally, an incredibly unique team. And this is why at UK Nats I was like, I'm getting an interview with you before you put up anything about this team, because I want to be the first person to feature it. So,
and I kept my promise.
Yeah,
so
you did keep your promise.
Sure.
This is your second year of competing, right?
Sort of.
Yeah. It's your first year actually trying to get the points to qualify for Worlds.
Yeah, it's my first year knowing what's going on. Like I went to nationals last year with like a team that I'd been given, not really knowing the format very well, not really knowing like what it took to qualify for Worlds.
Fair enough.
I was just sort of like, oh, cool, I'll go to nationals.
But this year you went straight off, and your first thing was you did a few Premier events, obviously.
No, I didn't actually.
You didn't do any?
Out Premier challenges. Like this is a testament to how unprepared I was.
Like, wow.
I didn't know Premier challenges gave you championship points.
This year you didn't know?
No, at all. Like I just didn't know about them.
Okay, so your first event was UK Regionals then?
Yeah, it was. I found out about Premier challenges in May. So I think I managed to fit two in. One.
Well, it's quite funny because I was at UK Regionals and German Nats, and we did meet at German Nats very briefly.
Yeah, I'd actually completely forgotten that happened.
But then UK Regionals, we didn't meet at all. I think you were doing a lot better than me.
Yeah, I went 6-2.
You went 6-2, and then in Top Cut, how did you do there?
I didn't actually make Top Cut. It was Top 8.
Wow, 6-2 didn't. Oh yeah, because it was a Top 8 Top Cut, and there were hundreds of people there. It was a crazy.
Yeah, so it was. I missed out on that on Resistance.
Oh, that's.
But so did like 15 other people who went 6-2.
Fair enough.
So.
Yeah, it was a very... I think UK Regionals was one of the most competitive. I went to UK Regionals, German Nats, and UK Nats. And I'd say out of the three of those, UK Regionals felt the most competitive.
Yeah, it was definitely harder to get into the Top Cut.
I mean, German Nats, I missed Top Cut by one match, my last match, which was heartbreaking for me. But you actually made Top Cut at German Nats, so let's talk about that really quickly.
I Top Cut my first nationals on the season.
And you did that with a Heatran, which was the wrong EV spread.
So was Landorus.
Level 53 was too slow, and Landorus was the wrong EV spread too.
Yeah, my Heatran was meant to outspeed Bisharp by 1 speed point, and it did not outspeed Bisharp at level 53.
It was obviously, for anybody wondering, VGC is fought at level 50, so not outspeeding Bisharp at level 53 is a very, very bad thing.
Yeah, especially when you know that's why it's there.
But German Nats did go well for you. You ended up making Top Cut, and
I did.
What was your final placement in German Nats then?
28th, I think. I had to do a match to get into the top 32 because there was 39 people made it in the Top Cut.
Yeah, because it was everybody went X and 2.
Yeah, and I was one of the unfortunate. I think it was like 14 people who had to do a match to get into the top 32, and I won that.
Well, yeah,
and then I lost,
you used the same team as you did for UK Nats, but obviously a less well-crafted version of it because the Heatran was too slow and things like that.
Yeah.
And then you went to UK Nats, and you did very, very well. I remember that day. Like, it was terribly run. It was a terribly run tournament. But you just kept coming back to the charging station at the end of every round. Yep, I won. Yep, I won. You went 7. You needed to go 7-2, everybody. And do you want to tell these people after 7 matches how many wins you had?
I had 7 after 7 matches.
7 for 7. You went 7-0, which we were all very jealous of. And, you know, at that point, we were also quite happy that we hadn't, because it was so badly run that at that point it was very late at night and everybody just wanted to go to bed. But
I was so grateful. I was so grateful that, like, I'd gone 7-0, because it meant that, like, I mean, I know I shouldn't have. For the last 2 matches, I did kind of just was like, oh, it doesn't matter. I've already qualified for tomorrow.
You found it in.
But, like, it meant I could actually have that kind of break time, that kind of downtime.
Yeah, because everybody else obviously would have finished that day, slept, and they'd have been back in 9 hours to do it all again. Whereas you had those last 4 hours as well to just relax and have fun.
Which was good. I mean, I didn't do amazing in Top Cut either.
All right.
But that's just a testament to how kind of new I am to it all, though.
Yeah, it was a pretty killer misplay in Top Cut that we all watched and cringed, but
I don't. It made like
It made
if he'd
sense to you at the time.
yeah, if he'd protected and I'd doubled into it, I'd have lost. And you know,
Yeah, well, it was a 50-50, but
yeah,
it was enough to score you enough points that at the end of UK Nats, you'd pretty much qualified for Worlds, or you had qualified for Worlds.
I
Actually.
had. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. I've only been 100% certain and confirmed in my own mind that I'd qualified for Worlds in the last kind of week or so.
You've qualified for Worlds, right?
I have.
You
My
are a
first
UK
Worlds.
player who has qualified for Worlds. There aren't many of those, really, actually. A lot of the European players are from Germany this year.
Germany has an insane amount of presence at the World Championships.
The German presence at the World Championships is crazy. But we have a Scot there. We've got a British...
We've got two Scots,
We've
actually.
got two Scots there.
Yeah.
But you're going to win, so that's the only Scot that matters. You're going to be running a different team, though, so that's why you're comfortable sharing this team with the world.
Yeah, I was proud of the team. I mean, it's the first team I've ever made by myself.
And
first team I've ever built.
it's awesome. Guys, you don't see the big smile on my face right now, but this team is awesome. I've been waiting for this moment. You were showing it to me at, it was UK Nats, after I was like, no, I'm done, man, I'm done. And you were like, okay, I guess I'll show you the team then.
Back at the moment where I realized you're not going to be a threat to me anymore.
Oh, wow. All right. Put it like that then. That's absolutely fine. Let's talk about it, though. So the core is that... I'll let you.
It's based around Mega Gengar, basically. Yeah. I watched a video back when I started the season again. Like I said, I was just wanting to get better at team building and didn't really know what I was doing or where to begin or where to start. Because like I said, this is my real first year doing all of this. It's my first year going to tournaments. It's my first year kind of making teams and things. And I was like looking back at the teams that I'd taken from Nugget Ridge reports last year. And I was like, right, well, what made these, like, obviously because like some of these teams, like I really liked the idea of going on there taking a team, because I was like, well, this person's won a championship with this team, or this person's done really well with this team. Like, if I'm using this team and I'm not winning most of the games, it means I'm playing badly. It's not the team's fault.
Yeah.
So like, that's why I wanted to kind of get my team out there, because I wanted to help people the same way like these reports have kind of helped me in the past.
Yeah.
But like,
the other thing to notice is that the meta does adapt to these teams.
They do, and that's a big part of why I didn't do well in Italy. Because Wolfie Glick used a very, very similar team to win regionals.
Yeah.
Everybody knows his was more defensive, though.
Yeah, the Wolf Glick Perish Trap team. I prefer your team. I know that's a really controversial thing to say, but I've seen both teams. I used the Wolf Glick Perish Trap team.
Yeah.
I think your team, it's got more options. I think is the thing to say about it. I wouldn't say it's better or worse, because I don't know, but I think it's got more options.
Yeah, but like, I mean, obviously he published the team and won just days before UK nationals.
Yeah.
But obviously nobody had time to adapt in that length of time.
Yeah.
And I think that was a big kind of part of why, because I didn't change anything going into Italy except from Rotom. And I do think like just the team and its kind of play style was a lot easier for people to predict, because like it had been brought to their attention.
Yeah.
I was like, oh well, I should have adapted more. But anyways, back to where it came from. So I was watching this video about like knowing your team, knowing what play style suits you best, basically.
Yeah.
Because when I was using all of these teams I took off Nugget Ridge, I noticed that I was just like general kind of good stuffs and hyper offense. I'm not very good at that.
That's the thing is I am a hyper offense player for OU. I can't play bulk. I cannot play stall. It doesn't work for me. So it's a very similar thing.
Yeah, I'm the exact opposite. I like control. I like stall. I like kind of momentum shifting as opposed to just hit and kill sort of things. So I was looking at these teams that I'd used in the past to see, all right, well, what about these teams were why I was doing well with them? And I noticed one of the two of them was it had Mega Gengar on it, and Shadow Tag was an ability that I always really, really liked.
Well, it gives you a huge amount of control. That's...
Yeah, I love that. Like just dictating the state of the board. Like if they lead wrong and I trap them, there's nothing they can do to adapt from that. Like they have to play at a disadvantage, basically.
Yeah.
And the other team had just kind of general disruption moves like Encore, which is a move I love and adore. just because
Yes, I'm well aware.
somebody protects. And
yeah.
It's like,
well, that poke does nothing now, especially in shadow.
Yeah.
You've got them in shadow tag.
Exactly. So the original version of the team, the one I used at regionals, was actually not good.
Not good? Okay.
Yeah, it was Mega Gengar, Suicune, Liepard, Breloom, Terrakion, and Thundurus.
See, the Liloom, that lead was really common at UK regionals.
Yeah.
Really common. I think I ran into it 3 times. Or 2 times, at least.
But basically, the whole idea for the team with me was just like trap them in with Gengar and then kind of disrupt them with everything else.
Yeah.
Like Suicune was there for speed control, Breloom and Terrakion were there to kind of hit things on the physical side, and Liepard and Thundurus were there to just disrupt things.
Yeah.
And that's where I initially got the idea for Fake Tears from, because I had initially the first version of the team, it was a purely offensive Mega Gengar as opposed to the kind of more bulky support one that it ended up becoming.
And you've just given away the punchline of this team as well. That
Yeah.
Fake Tears.
So yeah, Fake Tears. And basically the original version of the team, if I led wrong, I lost.
Yeah.
Because the team on the whole was just so frail and just couldn't handle me not being in a favourable lead matchup. I couldn't pivot around. It didn't work very well.
It does sound rather frail. Yeah.
So basically before Germany, I was kind of panicking and I was like, try to work out how to fix the team and how to make it better. And I was like, what do I like about all these Pokemon? How can I find a better way of doing this?
Yeah.
And all I really liked from Breloom was the priority. I rarely used Spore because like just grass types everywhere and like safety goggles, and I don't like playing around with sleep turns. It's too
risky. It's risky.
Yeah, basically.
It's not consistent. Yeah.
Yeah. But I did really like its grass typing. Being able to ignore like Rage Powder and being able to ignore Spore. And then I was looking at the rest of them and I was like, well, Liepard again is really frail. But I really like Encore, I really like Fake Tears, and I really like Prankster as an ability because I've got that.
Yeah.
That priority again.
Yes.
And then all Suicune was really doing for the team was providing speed control and doing little else, because Suicune is just not offensive enough. It's just literally got no offensive presence whatsoever.
It's just bulky and annoying.
Yeah. And basically I just combined all 3 of them in a Whimsicott.
Yeah.
I could get Tailwind.
Yeah.
I had Prankster, Fake Tears, Tailwind, and the other one, Encore.
Encore, yep.
And I had the grass type, so I ignored Sleep. I ignored Spore even, and I ignored Rage Powder.
Yeah.
Which was a big problem for the original version of Liepard, because I'd want to Encore something and then it'd get redirected, and then there'd be problems there. So yeah, Whimsicott ended up being just sort of
amazing.
Yeah, it ended up being a hybrid of those 3 mons I needed. All the roles of them that I liked the most, all combined into one thing.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, this opens up 2 slots for me now.
Yeah.
Like, I've suddenly gone from a team of 6 things to a team of 4 without losing anything.
Yeah, without losing any of the utility, which was what you were looking for.
Terrakion, I really, really liked having on the team. I really liked its stab. Close combat and rock slide were just so valuable as moves. But I didn't like its weaknesses, and it didn't really... I don't know. It was also just very frail.
Yeah, and the other thing is that they see Terracotta and they're going to lead to deal with Terrakion as well. They're going to bring something to deal with Terrakion because they're going to worry that you're going to be Terracotta if you bring a Whimsicott and a Terrakion.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, so, and I tried out Will-O-Wisp on my Mega Gengar, but I found, just to give myself, because the team was very frail, like I said, to give myself that bit of extra bulk. But it was a case of, if Gengar missed
the Will-O-Wisp, you were in
then it'd go down. And I'm like, well, that's useless.
Yeah.
And then the natural kind of progression there was to replace Terrakion with Landorus, because it's still got Rock Slide, I still got the fighting type attack, but in this case it was superpower. I added Intimidate, which helped with the physical frailty of Gengar. And it meant that I could also U-turn. I could add U-turn to the thing, which was often a problem. Like I said, like if I led wrong with the original version of the team, it was just really bad to kind of come back from it. But now with U-turn, I could just, oh well, I don't really want Landorus out here, but I can get out before it does anything, and I can switch and I can do a little bit of damage, and I can shuffle Intimidate. So that before long, I'd basically replaced
the majority of the team.
Yeah, but I was still missing two spaces at this point.
And Choice Band Landorus hits like a truck. I think that's something we really do need to reiterate for the people. You see Scarf Landorus, sorry, a lot in VGC, and you see Assault Vest quite a lot. Band is a lot rarer, but it hits like a truck.
I have actually switched from Band to Scarf now.
Okay.
But at the time of it was banded in UK and in Germany.
Yeah.
But I switched to Scarf because it meant I was often in a disadvantage. I was often at a disadvantage against other Landers
because of the flinch chance.
Yeah, they'd always be faster than me, so they'd always have that chance to flinch me.
Yeah.
Which isn't great.
No.
But yeah, so basically, I was left with two open spaces, and I was like, well, what have I been struggling with? And steel types with Sucker Punch was a big one.
Yeah. So that Bishop, which.
Yeah, and so I was like, well, I'll fire a Heatran on there.
Yeah.
Because again, it dealt with Amoonguss, which is always an issue. You know,
Amoonguss is an issue for everybody, I think.
Yeah. It kind of fit, and with the exception of the kind of water weakness, it and Landorus cover each other's weaknesses pretty nicely.
Yeah.
Like I said, excluding that water weakness, Landorus is quad weak to ice. Heatran quad resist ice. Heatran's quad weak to ground, but Landorus is immune to ground.
Yeah.
Heatran's weak to fighting. Landorus is immune to fighting.
Yeah.
Not
immune.
To fighting.
Resists.
Yeah, it resists it. It resists it and it intimidates them.
Yeah.
So like.
I mean, that's always been two pokes to a very, very good synergy. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And it again pivoted quite nicely. If I wanted to U-turn, I could bring in Heatran, and then a kind of mind game sort of things happen. Like say if they had a move to hit Heatran, it's like, well, do I go for the move to hit Heatran? Because
Yeah. Because he might switch into Landorus.
He might switch to Landorus.
Vice versa as well. And especially since Hidden Power Ice is one of the most common attacks onto a Landorus, and then you just switch out into your Heatran to take it.
And it laughs at the damage, basically. And Bisharp was added to my team as the very last member. I was talking to a friend of mine who's not got into VGC yet because he's had other more important things to do.
Yeah.
But he's wanting to start next year, and I was just talking to him about it because sometimes when you're just kind of you hit that wall, it's good to just talk to anybody.
And just to vocalize your thoughts, even.
Yeah. And as long as they've got even just a mild understanding, like they can say something to you that you might just have just completely not thought about.
Yeah.
Which is great. Like he was the one who suggested Bisharp, and because one of the things I missed was Breloom's physical offense.
Yeah.
But the main downsides I found to Breloom was after an Intimidate, it just doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Bisharp kind of was the opposite to that. Like after an Intimidate, it's suddenly one of the most
one of the scariest mons in the game.
Exactly.
Because that +1 Sucker Punch can kill a lot of things.
It can kill a lot of things. And
then with a sash as well, +1 knockoff. No, that's a powerful attack.
Yeah. And it meant that I kept that priority as well.
Yeah.
Because one thing, speed control is the most important aspect of VGC.
Yeah.
Because, like, I know a lot of people think that, I was like, oh, it's such a luck-based game. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of luck into it, but a lot of the game is just luck management.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, like, I mean, rock slide's rock slide's on every team because it is the best move in the game.
Yeah.
Like it hits both things. It's got that 30% chance to flinch.
Yeah.
But like those are the things that matter the most. Those flinches, and it's really difficult to be flinched if you can't be flinched at all if you're going first all the time.
Yeah. So speed control is hugely important.
Yeah, that's why I liked having 2 prankster users. That's why I liked having kind of fast offense. That's why I liked having priority.
So
and multiple ways to kind of either slow them down with like Thunderwave or speed myself up with Tailwind, just so that I was never playing down essentially.
There is one thing I'd like to bring back now that we've done all 6 members of the team and we've got that final team written down, and everybody knows what it is now. It's all out there. Can we talk about that Gengar Whimsicott combo and how that lead gives you all kinds of options?
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that really impressed me about your team. I think that's the thing that we'll focus on, because obviously your Nugget Bridge report is going to have the whole team in a lot of detail.
Yeah.
So I will link that down below as well when it goes live. But let's talk about just that combo, just for now.
Well, this is like the main part of the original team that I wanted to kind of keep, which was that Fake Tears and just Mega Gengar.
Yeah, Fake Tears Mega Gengar combo. Because I think it's important to mention the Fake Tears Mega Gengar combo is really good because you will OHKO and Aegis Slash. That's what you Fake Tears, lowering the Aegis Slash special defense. A shield for Mega Slash will die to a Shadow Ball.
Soul Cresselia. And
that too. You kept coming back. I just one-shot Cresselia again.
UK Nationals, I one-shot 4 Cresselia in turn 1 of the game. But it's also worth noting, right, the Gengar spread I'm using, I'm really bad at making my own spreads, but I guess that also comes with the fact that, I'm quite green in regards to, competitive Pokemon. But I'm just basically using Wolfie Click's Mega Gengar.
So you've got 4 or 16 special attack EVs and that's it?
It's just 4.
Just 4, yeah.
But even with those 4, at -2, Cresselia gets OHKO'd.
Yep, and Aegis Slash, I believe.
Yeah. Aegis Slash, it's not even there's not even a chance it can survive. Cresselia, if it's got a lot of special bulk, can still take it.
But those 4 did not.
No, because Cresselia tends to kind of shift towards more offensive spreads, just so that they're not doing nothing while they're on the field.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyways, the team on the whole is all about, like, it's better to kind of play it a little bit more aggressively to begin with, because then you kind of force your opponent to make choices that they might necessarily not want to. So, like, by trapping them in and things, I can Fake Tears, or I'll Tailwind if I feel like it's necessary. Like, oh, they've got a fast Landorus, I want to be ahead of that.
Yeah.
But like, I can trap them in, and then I can Fake Tears, and I can get surprise knockouts, and that's when they start to panic and start thinking, okay, if that happens again, I'm going to lose another Pokemon. So then they protect.
Yeah.
And that's when you Encore them. So then all of a sudden, you've stopped one thing, you've got rid of one thing completely.
And the other thing is literally Encored into Protect. It's doing absolutely nothing.
The other thing you've rendered completely useless.
And it's not like you don't have other options either, because you have that Perish Song on the...
initially, like I said, I had a more offensive version, but I think it was before German Nationals I added Perish Song to the team. Because, like I said, Will-O-Wisp, when I missed it, just wasn't worth it. And I needed a way of getting past particularly kind of fat mons that just don't die. I mean, they don't pose any of kind of threat, but they're annoying, and they stick around and they chip away while you're dealing with the things that are an actual threat. And Perish Song it's not the primary focus of the team. It's sort of a kind of like,
it's a backup strategy.
Yeah. And it kind of works along the lines of, if I go on the offensive with like Fake Tears and Shadow Ball, then they start playing more conservatively, and I Encore them.
Yeah.
That's when I can Perish Song.
Yeah, when they're stuck.
Exactly.
And then you've also got the Disable option on your Gengar.
Right? Disable's there too.
Because you Encore disabled both of your opponent's last pokes for that one game.
I did, yeah.
And they both struggled to death, which I think is That is the worst way to lose a battle in Pokemon. I think having both of your Mons at the end of the battle just struggling to death is terrible, and it makes you a terrible person. I hope you understand that. Okay.
All of my friends joke around and say, "No, Jamie just hates fun." Because if you play all the kind of card games, like like Magic and Pokemon, like the decks we've got, all mine are kind of based around the same kind of mentality of like kind of control and stopping other people from doing things. And I mean, I enjoy it. That's me having fun.
So, but they're trying to have fun too, and you're like, no, you don't get to have your fun. You get to have my fun.
It's very one-sided fun.
The other thing we should mention is that you are planning at some point in the future on making a YouTube channel as well.
I am. I'm moving to Edinburgh on Tuesday.
Right.
And my flatmate has a very, very nice big gaming PC.
Ooh. And
he is a big fan of this whole video editing sort of deal.
Oh,
so I'm like, well, I want to do this, and he's like, well, I like that. I like the sound of like the technical side of things. So I'm hoping to basically get that started as soon as we get his computer.
Well, that's amazing.
Moved in.
If that happens, the link to his channel will be down below. Even if it doesn't have videos on it, guys, go subscribe, because he's going to be another one of those very, very competitive players along the lines of Joey or Cybertron or things like that, where it's much more educational. Thank you very much for talking to me, man. I really appreciate it.
It's all right, man. Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you guys next time.